Hey everybody, give you a second to join me. So I said I would pop in and talk about Venus retrograde and talk a little bit more about the Pisces new moon, which we're still hot on the heels of today. And Venus retrograde is a big part of the new moon Pisces. It happens at the same time. And Venus is going to be backing up into Pisces. Hey, Tiara. And I was thinking today about how interesting it is that Venus is going retrograde in a masculine sign, Aries, while Mars is coming out of retrograde and traveling back through a feminine sign, Cancer. So we have an archetype of femininity reassessing through a masculine style, masculine sign, masculine lens, masculine principles, and masculinity that has reassessed. Mars has reassessed, has gone through this process of reevaluation in a feminine sign of Cancer. So it's very, very interesting because it has given the collective the collective body of humanity this period of time where we can both heal the masculine principle, make some strides towards wholeness when it comes to Mars, and now have this opportunity to heal the feminine principle and the passive and aggressive forces within us. The forces that get and the forces that receive. The part of us that wants and the part of us that mobilizes to get what we want. So Venus is what we want, Mars is how we get it. And masculine and feminine forces within us, the sun and the moon, Venus and Mars. I would say the moon and Mars, the yin and the yang within us, whatever planets represent that. Everything is about balance. Everything comes down to that. And if we are out of balance somewhere in some system, whichever system, our spiritual system, our physical system, our emotional system, our attachment system, then we don't get the best. We don't get a peaceful result. We don't get the best result. We don't get an integrated result. And so integration is a big thing that we're looking at. I am. Integrity. Being whole. A completeness. So we don't have these parts of us that are misaligned or that are pulling on us or that we're one way, we're also another. And we're always going to have those different ways of being. But you have to know that. You have to know that you are a certain way. That's self-awareness. And when you know, when you acknowledge it, when you see it, when you accept it, now you can do something about it. We have to take responsibility for our ways of being first. So we're learning to dance, if we can't already. If we dance and we don't notice it, we step on toes, or we lead too forcefully, or we're clumsy, but we mean well. All the different ways, things, problems that can affect our rhythm. And we're figuring it out. So the Pisces new moon, it's the beginning of the end, because that's what new moons are, beginnings. Pisces is the end. The beginning of the end of heartache. The beginning of the end of disintegrating experiences. We make progress when it comes to figuring out solutions to problems, plugging up some holes, being able to move on. And progressed moon in Pisces advice. That is the most difficult progressed moon to be dealing with. It was the progressed moon in Pisces, along with Neptune crossing my descendant at the same time, that really was the step into spiritual life for me and for many of us. That's what the progressed moon in Pisces does, is it sensitizes us, it softens us, it brings us spiritual experiences, spiritual relationships. It's actually a humiliating period of time, because that's one of the steps to enlightenment, is we end up being humiliated. We like to think that enlightenment means that you feel good. You feel good. You don't suffer. You cross the finish line first, and there's a lot of people to see you doing it too. Nah. Oh, it can be privately or not. Humiliating, embarrassing experience, because it necessitates a life review. We take more full, complete responsibility. That sucks. It does. Because we have to admit some things to ourselves, take responsibility for some things, things we didn't want. We don't like that. But you have to, if you're going to progress. We have to own who we are and what we do. We have to. You can only fake it if you do it otherwise. You only get spiritual bypass if you aren't really, 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 truly owning your behavior and what happens to you and seeing your part in it, understanding your choices, and seeing that where we are is a result of our choices. There's a few things that can happen to us, but how we respond to those things is very much what defines us. So Saturn stuff. Saturn is in Pisces. Yeah. We don't get to really, truly commune unless we do the hard work of Saturn first, which means we have to get real. Otherwise, it's just lip service. It's escapism. You don't really, truly know what you're talking about. So, as Venus goes retrograde through Aries, we're looking at how our immaturity, our impatience, our selfishness, our impulsiveness, how is that negatively impacting what we want? And then as Venus goes into Pisces, we're looking at matters of compassion, escapism, union, integration, transcendence, romance, illusion, delusion, clarity, comfort. And we just may find out how we act as our own worst enemy. How do we self-sabotage? And then we end up not getting what we want. So we fall in love with ourselves as Venus goes retrograde in Aries. We deepen our appreciation for who we are as an individual. And then we fall in love with what's divine when Venus retrogrades back into Pisces. We fall in love with ourselves, and then we fall in love with what's much, ever so much bigger than ourselves. You can't do the things of Pisces unless you start at the beginning. We're going to be looking at a lot of our life with beginner's eyes. Not recycling our old pain stories. Shh. Livy, it's okay, baby. There's really a sweetness that develops as Venus retrogrades through Pisces. We start out with it in Aries with more of a bang. But as the weeks go by, a softness, a sweetness, a receptivity comes in. So we fall in love for real. Because it's about us. We don't really fall in love with another. We may revisit a relationship or deepen a relationship that already exists. We may reassess. We may realign. But generally with Venus in retrograde, we're in a period of revaluing, redoing, repairing. And as Venus moves forward, that's then when we can act on those things. We have activity, forward motion regarding what was brought up during the retrograde period. So look at it like, life is a roller coaster. We're in our roller coaster car. We're going and we're going and we're going, and then we come to a place where we're coasting for a bit. And because there isn't as much forward motion, in fact, we're looping back past a place that we passed before. But now that we're going slower and there's not so much frenetic activity, you can actually notice. You can take another look. You can see what it looks like, really. Get a better look. And then as Venus goes forward again, our roller coaster car takes back off, and we have the loops and the ups and downs and the action and the motion of life. So if we didn't have that period of time where we're coming around the bend and there's not a lot of ups and downs, it gives us that chance to look around and take another look and gain some clarity. And that's really hard to do when you're involved in all of this. So we look again at old relationships, and that can be relationships of all kinds. People can come back from the past. This is where we gain better understanding of past situations or relationships. Sometimes relationships can't pick up. They can have a continuation. So after the period while Venus is retrograde of renewing, it's when it goes motion in forward motion that we really start acting on the redoing. So beginning relationships while Venus is retrograde is not advised. It doesn't mean that we can't have success, but it's a period of time that is very much, hold on, Anne. It's a period of time that is very much dedicated to finishing up, renewing, reassessing, and then we can either choose again or have a finality of closure. So Anne, let's see, you had another question. Progressed in Scorpio, not the best for dating. How to survive. What is the difference with Pisces and Cancer? Cancer is not the most painful, most difficult progression for the moon to go through. See, Pisces and Scorpio are the hardest. With Scorpio, we're doing a lot of karma clearing, and we can do that with progressive moon and Pisces also. We aren't just experiencing as much limerence or getting involved, and obviously questionable relationships, like with the moon in Scorpio. With the moon in Pisces, we're dealing with so much self-sabotage, seeing what we do to ourselves. The moon progressing through Scorpio isn't as heartbreaking. We're still going through a lot. There's a lot of changes in that 2.5-year period of time, whether the moon is progressing through Pisces or Scorpio. But it is a period where we are just doing so much letting go of a whole frame of life. So yeah, the progress chart's interesting. We don't have the external events that we're responding to like we do with transits when we're looking at the progress chart. Things in our life can be going along apparently the way they've always gone, but we look to the progress chart to show us what kind of internal changes and eruptions are occurring here. And with the moon progressing through Scorpio, we're getting really tired of our coping mechanisms. It's more obvious to us that we need to make some room. The moon progressing through Pisces, I think we're so focused on being glamored by what seems to promise to save us. can be a really silly period of time. Progressed moon in Pisces. We do a lot of crying. Yeah, I cried for a couple of years when my moon progressed through Pisces. But it's the nature of it. These are the signs where we go to die, so we can live again. So how do we deal with it? We don't fight it. With the moon progressing through Scorpio, don't fight it. Give up the long-standing habitual emotional patterns that you've relied on to keep yourself safe, because we're finding that those patterns don't work anymore. They don't keep us safe anymore. In fact, they might actually be putting us in danger, what we're doing now. It worked for us in the past. Things change. We change. Well, and you can't decide to hang up your dating hat for 2.5 years because the moon is progressing through a certain sign. We have to live our life anyway. It can be something that will draw you towards more intense people, intense encounters, so that you can see your karmic coping patterns. And that can help you to give them up, so you can have a lighter experience, more joyful experience when the moon goes into Sagittarius. I'd say that the moon progressing through Leo is the best moon for dating, or any of the other fire signs, but we still have to live our life. And you will probably be more drawn towards scorpionic figures with the moon progressing through Scorpio. You need to make some choices. You put your health and safety first rather than the quest for intensity. But you'll learn a lot. You'll learn a lot. How is it different from Pisces and Cancer? Well, moon in Cancer is actually, progressed moon in Cancer is actually a more comforting time. It's different from progressed moon in Pisces because we're not as caught up in illusion and romantic ideals. And we're drawn to intensity rather than fantasy. All right. Oh, Gina, that's why I've been going down memory lane in my mind. A lot of us will, with Venus going into retrograde and with the new moon in Pisces. Absolutely. And I hear you. I loved progressed moon in Sagittarius. Progressed moon in Aries. Oh, God, when it got out of Pisces, God, that felt so good. Oh, my God, that felt so good. I finally felt solid again. But that was, yeah, an intensely spiritual period of time. I don't think I would be doing this now if my moon hadn't progressed through Pisces. And that was a big part of my calling being revealed to me. Time to heal. You woke up to a dense fog outside, still feeling heavy Pisces energy. Oh, yeah, we will. We will. That is a thing today. It'll be with us. It marks the first week of this 4-week period of time with the moon. Lolly, how is transiting Venus retrograde applying to someone who has it retrograde in the natal chart? You know, it's interesting. When we have a planet that's retrograde in our natal chart, and then that planet goes retrograde in the solar system, it actually feels familiar to us. It doesn't for other people. For them, it's an anomaly. But for us, we feel like that all the time. And we often won't notice that retrograde period as being very special. Like people with Mercury retrograde, they actually feel better when Mercury is retrograde. They handle it better. They're used to all those snafus and difficulties in transit. They're used to the troll of the solar system getting in their ear and making them take another look and reassess. And you know, if for us it's a difference that we have to negotiate. So you're already questioning the reassessing, taking another look with Venus retrograde in the natal. So it isn't as foreign or difficult when it happens in the sky. Okay, so, all right, I'm going to get going. I might check in with you tomorrow. I am not sure. I'll have to see what's going on. Yeah, maybe not. I teach a couple of classes tomorrow, so I might have, nah, I may not have the energy, but we'll see. Oh, hey, Donnie. All right, guys. It was good to see you. And happy new moon, everybody. Use it well. Plant seeds of compassion, but real compassion. Not fake compassion. Not the kind that's just meant to keep us safe from doing the hard work of growing up. Have compassion for yourself first. And then it will become real.